here with Storm Reid. You know that we staying the night in this room or whatever. But before all this happened, I did go see Sky Jackson. So I just remember I did recall the state that she was going to because she told me in a text. So I was there waiting for her because she said the hotel that she was going to be checking in with her mom and all that. So I seen her walking by herself. And so I pulled her to her side and I'm like, come in this room. I got to talk to you. So she like, so she looking at me and she's looking all sad. And then she started crying. So I'm like, Sky, what are you crying for? So she's like, because I can't believe you're dating my friend, David. I'm like, look, I need to talk to you. Now, look, I wasn't always like this. I wasn't always like the type of nigga that sleep around with girls. Look, I put my heart and trust in a lot of girls, like a lot of girls. And all of them always did shady shit to me. I mean, a lot of the girls used to date some of my homeboys, have sex with my homeboys. I walked in on a lot of my girls doing it to my niggas. So a lot of times, I'm not saying that I can't trust a girl, but I'm saying like it's hard for me to really put my full trust in one girl, and that's why I sleep around, and that's why I do the things that the girls did to me to up now I'm doing it to other girls because I don't want to feel that pain of being hurt or being betrayed. So to protect myself, I sleep around with other girls so I will never get hurt again. I don't know if that makes sense, but I do still care about you. So she like, why didn't you just tell me that in the beginning, David? I do love you. I understand what you're saying, David. So what are you talk? So okay, so what are you gonna do about Storm? I'm like, you know that I love you, girl. She's like, so you saying that we're not breaking up? I'm like, am I here? She's like, well, yeah. So I'm like, I mean, I got a business run I gotta take care of, but you know that I want to make love to you. She's like, I want to make love to you too. So me and Sky, we make love and we make up. And so she texts Storm, stay away from my man. So Storm texts back, I can't do that, girl. You know I can't do that. So Sky, like I said, stay away from him or else. So she was like, she texts back like, or else what? So so Sky was like, I'm not going back and forth with that girl. She knows she better know what I mean. Anyway, I miss you, David. I'm like, I miss you too, Sky. So what you doing out here in this city? She's like, well, I have an interview and some press runs I got to do because, I have a show coming out and I got to do like some interviews for that and some like press runs for that. But that's really basically what I'm out here for. But just business. I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, so did you miss me? I'm like, yeah, you ain't called me. She's like, I was mad at you, David. I'm gonna call you, I promise you. I'm like, you wanna start calling me again? She's like, yeah. I'm like, you was mad at me. It's like, I was furious at you, David. I was really hurt. Like, you don't know how bad you hurt me. I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, I was in my hotel room crying in the bed with the covers over me, like crying. All my mascara was all over my face. Like, I looked at like one of them damn clowns. Like, that's how bad I was crying. I was like, you was crying? I was like, yeah, I was crying. Like, crying. I'm like, you was? She's like, yeah. I was in a bathtub crying. Like, I was really hurt. I'm like, well, you know that you're my baby, and now you know the truth about me. She's like, I know now, David, but can you at least try not to sleep around for me and just see the type of girl I am first? And just, if I do something sneaky, then you can start doing it again. I promise you, I'll be a loyal girlfriend. I'm like, all right, okay. So like, and if I do sleep around, if I do cheat, you have the right to have sex with whoever you want to. I'm like, all right. She's like, I love you, David. She's like, that's my mom calling me. So, okay, let me deal with my mom. So you gotta go and take care of your business? I said, yeah. She was like, okay, I'm gonna take care of my mom. Maybe you can come back later on tonight and we can finish this, like making up and stuff. I'm like, yeah. She's like, I love you, David. I'm like, I love you too, Sky. So, Sky had to go back to her mom and I went back to Storm. So Storm was like, "Where was you at?" I'm like, "Oh, I had to." I'm like, "Storm, I gotta talk to you." She's like, "What?" I'm like, "Look, look, I've been cheated on a lot. Like a lot of girls did me wrong, and I put my trust in a lot of bitches. And when I did that, I'm thinking that maybe they would be faithful to me or be loyal. They were sleeping with my homeboys, just really doing some cruddy shit. So I'm the type of nigga now that I do the same thing those girls did to me. I do the same thing to other girls now because I just don't want to feel that pain. I don't want to feel hurt anymore, or I don't want to feel stupid. It'll be like, yeah, I got a good girl, but in reality, I got a bitch. So she like, I get what you're saying, David. I'm like, so it's really hard for me to be faithful to one girl, like really fucking hard. So she like, David, I understand what you're saying, baby. I'm like, you do? She's like, yeah. She's like, but I won't cheat on you. I promise you. I am a really good girl. I'm not going to cheat on you. The only way that I would do some shit like that is if somebody raped me or do some real creepy shit like that and take advantage of my body. And I will sue the shit out of them and they'll be behind bars. But I love you and you're the only man I love. I'm like, you sure? She's like, yes, David. I understand what you're saying. I'm like, so you do storm? She's like, yeah, I know. I get it, baby. She's like, and that's why I'm not mad because I know that you went to go see Sky and fucked her. I know, David, I get it, okay? But you gotta promise me that you won't do it again. I mean, I know the girl hurting, so I know why you went to go see her. So you gotta promise me that you won't do it again. I'm like, all right, I promise. She's like, it's only me now, okay? I'm like, yeah, it's only you now. She's like, David, look at me. I'm looking at her. She's like, it's only me now, right? I'm like, right. She's like, okay. She's like, but I understand, David. I really do. So I'm like, yeah, it's hard. It's really, really fucking hard. She's like, I know. I'm like, you don't understand. It's an addiction of what I do now. Like, I have a bad habit of just fucking bitches. She's like, so what are you saying? You gonna do it? Like, you gonna start cheating on me? I mean, like, David, I really love you. I'm like, I'm not going to do it, I promise. She's like, look, I know that you're with Selena, but I'm looking past that part. I'm looking past the part that you're with Selena, but I'm talking about with other girls that you're going to be doing movies with. Are you going to have sex with Olivia Holt? I'm like, no, I'm not. She's like, but how do I know? I'm not going to be around to see what you're going to be doing with her. I'm like, I'm not going to do anything. She's like, she's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. I'm like, what about you? Ain't you doing a movie? She's like, that's in a few months, David, but it's not a fucking love story. I'm like, so what is it? She's like, it's another fucking kiddie story, David. It's not like it's some. I'm like, I'm doing a movie like out of a children book. Like it's not really a fucking David. It's not a serious movie, so you don't have to worry about me falling in love with anybody. I'm like, okay. She's like, so it's not gonna happen. I want you. And if that is the case where I'm doing something like that, I will make sure that they have no sex scenes in the fucking story or no kissing scenes. Or if it is a kissing scene, I'm gonna make sure that it's not a long one. So I'm like, It's like, David, I will not sign on to projects to mess up our relationship. I promise. I'm like, you sure? She's like, yes, I promise. I'm like, okay. She's like, all the fucking gigs that I'll get, there'll be kitty gigs. I promise. There'll be shit like that. Like, all the shit I'll get, it will be stupid shit. Okay? So that way our relationship will stay safe. Okay? I'm like, all right. She's like, it won't. I promise you, you won't see me doing anything that will hurt you. I'm like, and do I got your word on it? She's like, yes, David, you do. I promise you. Matter of fact, I'm glad you said something because there was some producers that just called me up asking me for a role for something like that, like a romantic role, and I just told him that I wasn't interested, and now I can be very forceful with it and be like, no. I'd rather just do the stuff I'm doing right here, the kitty little stuff, like these type of movies that I'm doing, because it's satisfying to me. And I really don't want to do stuff like that right now, because now I know that that will hurt you, and I don't want to mess up our relationship and have it on the rocks. Having you thinking that I'm sleeping around or cheating on you or kissing another nigga, and I'm not doing that. And I'll be thinking the same thing about you and Olivia. So I'm like, okay. All right, I get what you're saying, baby. So we on point though. She's like, yes, David, we're on point. So I'm like, all right, now you know what I want to see. She's like, yeah, you want to see me turn around? I'm like, yeah. So she started turning around and then she started shaking her ass. I'm like, shake that little ass, girl. I want to see it twerk. She's like, okay. So I come behind her. She's like, oh, I feel that big damn dick. I like, oh, you feel it? She's like, mm-hmm. People talking about I'm 15, like I don't know what fucking is or sex is. I know what all that stuff is. Like I'm not that fucking young where I don't know what the fuck that means. So she like, so you ready to get some? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. So yeah, I fucked her and piped her ass down and did some stuff to her. And so all I remember is as like I'm like laying in the bed and Selena calls me and she's like, David, I fucking miss you. I'm like, I miss you too. She's like, David, ever since we got married, we haven't spent no real time together. You've been gone like so much, David. I'm like, okay. And tomorrow is Monday and I'll be around all the time. I promise you, I'll be around all the time. She's like, okay. I'm like, I promise you, okay? She's like, okay. And we're gonna spend all the time together. She's like, you promise? I'm like, matter of fact, Monday is gonna be our day. She's like, oh really? I'm like, yeah, we're gonna spend the whole day together. Matter of fact, we can spend the whole week together. She's like, but what about the movie? I'm like, I can still shoot the movie, just be done early. She's like, okay. I'm like, you my baby. I love you, girl. She's like, I love you too, David. I'm like, so how's my daughter? She's like, you mean our daughter? I'm like, yeah. She's like, she sleep. I fed her and stuff. She misses her daddy like I miss daddy. I'm like, okay, I'll be there, baby. I promise. She's like, okay. I'm like, just don't start cheating on me. She's like, I'm not. I'm calling you because I miss you. I'm like, all right, and I'll be there and we're going to do everything. She's like, are we going to cut up? I'm like, cut up? We gonna do more than cut the fuck up. So like we better. So I'm like, all right. She's like, well, bye, baby. This pussy be waiting for you in the morning. I'm like, okay, I can't wait to get up in it. She's like, mm-hmm. You already put some babies in it. So I get off the phone with her and Storm like, Selena pregnant? I'm like, yeah. She's like, and it's yours? I'm like, mm-hmm. She's like, you got Selena Gomez pregnant? I'm like, yeah. She's like, whoa, that's a huge story right there. Damn, nobody knows about that? I'm like, no. She's like, it's gonna be pretty hard for her to keep that shit a secret. Cause once she start getting fat and stuff, people gonna realize she pregnant. Cause when you pregnant, you gain a lot of weight, especially skinny bitches. So I'm like, what you think she gonna gain a lot of weight? She's like, oh, she gonna gain a whole lot of fucking weight. And it's gonna be fucking noticeable that she pregnant. Like it's gonna be all over her face and her fucking body. Especially when her stomach start punching out. Oh, people gonna realize they gonna be like that girl pregnant. She ain't gonna be able to hide it unless she stays the fuck in the house. That's the only way she gonna be able to hide that shit. But if she like going out and doing stuff, people gonna keep asking her. They gonna be like, are you pregnant, girl? It's like, you pregnant. Are you pregnant? So I'm like, yeah, that's true. So I'm like, yeah, that's true. So she like, David, I'm like, what? She like, I love you. I'm like, I love you too, Storm. You my Storm bitch. She like, yeah. I'm like, so did your mom call you? She like, she called to see how I was doing, but she ain't called to say I had to come back to the room. So I'm like, so you staying, right? It's like, yeah, we gonna do everything all night. Just making love, fucking, kissing, cuddling, all that. I'm like, so you my girl? It's like, I'm your girl forever. I'm like, oh, you better be my girl forever. Say, I am. I'm your girl. I'm your girl forever, baby, and ever. And you better feel the same way about me. I'm like, ah, dude, you little crazy ass. Up there fussing me out on the phone when we first met. She's like, yeah, I was kind of mad. I was mad at you. I didn't know you, David. But I'm glad that it happened that way. I'm like, I'm glad too. Now give me some of that pussy.